Welcome to Cowgirl Talk, where we empower you to live authentically through real food, real talk, and real life. Sisters brought together by our love of cows. We're your host, Emily, a dairy lover and personal trainer living in Florida.
And Becca, a corporate cowgirl holding down the family fort in Pennsylvania. Let's go, cowgirls!
Hello, and welcome back to Cowgirl Talk. Today's episode is our take on having a healthy girl summer. And this is really our version of kind of the trend of hot girl summer. So we wanted to chat about the things that allow us to really just feel our best physically and mentally going through the summer. And honestly, I feel like all of these things are things that we implement year round, but we know that summer, it's busy, it's chaotic, there's all of the fun things. So this is our take on a healthy girl summer / balanced girl summer. We really couldn't decide on what to call it, but I'm excited for us to have this conversation, to really just chat about what we do with each other, but then hopefully y'all can take a few habits away from this. And I'm not saying we're both the epitome of health, but I feel like we've got some solid routines down.
Yeah. Well, summer is, you work all year, I feel like, to get ready for summer, and then summer comes and it all explodes because there's holidays, there's parties, you're outside, you're together with friends, you want to be on the patio drinking and eating. So it's like, yeah, you prepare all year, then you destroy it, and then you get back into getting ready. It is a cycle. And so I'm excited to use this as inspiration, or maybe a reminder that I'm on the right track this summer to not totally sabotage all the work that I put in the rest of the year.
Well, yeah, and that's such a good point that you brought up in terms of, I kind of forget that because Florida's so freaking hot year round. I mean, it's kind of summer year round here. And also with my own journey, what I focus on with Dairy Girl Fitness, we always really try to focus on, hey, let's take care of our health year round. But so often I do think a lot of us, and I know especially women, get really caught up in, I'm just doing this to get ready for that summer body, bikini body ready, right? And we put so much focus simply on what our body looks like and almost limiting ourselves to, well, we can only enjoy it if we look or weigh a certain thing. And that's why in this episode, I'm excited for us to talk about what makes us feel good outside of just our appearance, outside of the number on the scale, and really allows us to just feel our most confident, energized, and really strong and empowered self. And there's nothing wrong with going for a certain appearance, but I think a lot of our conversation today will revolve around, okay, let's mentally feel good, which ultimately overflows into physically feeling good as well. Before we dive into all of that, let's go to our highs and lows. And I was looking at our notes beforehand, and one of Becca's lows is, I'm pretty intrigued on what this is going to be. So Becca, you can go ahead and start on our highs and lows.
I always love that, Emmy and I log in to record this podcast and are on camera a few minutes before we start.
Yeah, not a lot
recording.
Of prep going into Cowgirl Talk. Sorry.
And I just love sometimes putting things in there because she's watching as I update the notes with what I want to say, and she'll be like, What?
What is this going to be?
I purposely type things to see if I can catch Emmy's attention on what I'm going to talk about. So my highs this week were all surrounding the 4th of July weekend. So, we took a week off from Cowgirl Talk, which was much needed because I feel like there's just so much going on, and just honestly some lounging that I was too lazy to give up. So thank you, Cowgirls.
Rest and recovery. It's part of a healthy girl summer.
It is. And so we had all kinds of things going on because Joe and I are, both still home near our family. So it's easier to, but also hard, because we have everybody to cover, so we cover everybody.
Yeah.
So, we had a couple picnics, and the one day we spent out at the farm by the pool. We had fireworks at our dad's house, and then one high that will lead into my low is we went to the 4th. We went to the 4th of July game at the Altoona Curve, which is a minor league affiliate team for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they have a great stadium. It's the same stadium where the Miranda Lambert concert was. We got our burgers, we got our French fries, we got our beers and those Surfside vodka tea things that we found on my bachelorette. Good. They're so good.
I love those.
And the end of the game, it didn't rain the whole game.
Oh, nice.
And the Curve won, but then as we were going to leave, it started to downpour.
Oh,
but they
no.
still did the fireworks. So we had these
I was going to say, it was before or after fireworks?
before, but they still went for the fireworks. So everyone basically stayed there in the rain, and which was fine because at first, it was annoying, but then, I was kind of like, wow, this is cool. Sure, we're caught in the rain. How romantic. What a Hallmark movie moment. And all those things. So the fireworks were awesome, but then we were going to leave, and the rain had slowed down a little bit, and it was starting to stop. We're like, oh, thank God. By the time we're walking to our car, the rain will be done. Well, we get up to the gate, so there's an entrance that has 6 different openings to one big gate. I guess if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple sets of doors at a big gate. They didn't have any of them open. And
That's
yeah, we got up there. No one's telling anyone anything. It was like 10, 15 minutes we were standing there.
Like a group of you, there was everyone.
Hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people. That place holds like over 7,000 people.
Yeah.
And everyone's starting to pile up, and people have a herd mentality when it comes time to panic.
Yeah.
It does not take long.
Why are we getting locked inside?
For a group of people to panic.
Especially on like a holiday, right? I mean, a holiday
okay, thank God, I moved us closer to the edge, because in my head I'm like, I need a freaking escape plan, because this is a great place to kill a lot of people. I know that's like so violent.
America.
But that's where my head went, is like somewhat, well, I mean, it is like a politically driven holiday in a way, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, people be crazy, tensions be high. My head goes to the fright of, oh my God, how do we exit?
Yeah.
So we were right next to the bushes. So I moved us closer to the bushes. Graham was like, what are you going to do if something happens? I was like, I'm going to throw
you with Graham too?
Yeah, it was me, Mom, Graham, Aunt Kathy, and Joe.
Oh, that's so fun.
Joe crashed girls' night. And so I was like, Graham, I'm going to throw you in the bushes, and then I'm going to follow. And she goes, okay.
We're diving in.
I was like, at least I have an escape plan versus getting mobbed. But anyways, we still to this day cannot find on the internet why they held us there.
That's so weird.
A person in front of Joe said, oh, you know what? There might be a kid missing. I could see them not letting anyone leave until they find them. And Joe went, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense if a kid were missing. And then the guy behind us said, oh, what did you say? And Joe said, this guy up here said there might be a kid missing. That would explain why we're here. Yeah. Doesn't this guy turn around and tell, there's a kid missing?
Oh my
God.
God.
You can hear it literally. It was spooky, trickling down, and people just kept saying, oh my God, there's a kid missing. Oh my God, a kid. People. Oh my God, I hope the kid is okay. And Joe was like, oh my God.
What did I start?
Yeah, and the guy behind us was like, look what you started, man. We said,
you
no,
started it,
you
douchebag.
started it. Don't you dare come at us.
Yeah, you asked, and you did this.
Yeah. And so it was either someone was missing or there was a threat. It had to have been one of the two. I can't think of any other possible reason why they would keep us locked up for 10 to 15 minutes. But then...
That's so weird.
Finally,
and this was after the fireworks were done.
Yeah,
and everyone...
this is like 10 o'clock, right? And it's still raining, so we're stuck in the rain. I'm afraid we're going to get murdered. Oh my God.
Becca started. And literally, actually, Becca can spiral pretty quickly. I've seen it.
Yeah. But I was using my fright. I was channeling my fright into an escape plan. Okay,
into adrenaline.
Yeah, so I was ready to save our family.
Yeah.
And there's fight, there's flight, and there's fright. And I have fright.
Yep.
But anyways, and then Aunt Kathy was like, I'm starting to feel claustrophobic.
Oh, yeah.
But we ended up, it was fine. We got out of there. And,
so weird.
But they only opened one gate. And there was a security guard that was very intently looking at everyone who left. So again, they were looking for someone or something.
Yeah. If they got a call or something.
We got out of there.
Sprinted.
I've never seen Graham walk that fast in my life. We're all like, get us out of here.
Oh my gosh. Graham was speed walking to the max.
Yeah, and so that was crazy. I mean, it's hard to explain. I've never been in a situation where I'm in a herd of people where something could potentially be wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. So anyways, that was my low.
Anyways, that was my 4th of July.
And another low, actually, Emily, you'll think this is funny. I haven't sent it to the sibling group chat yet.
Oh, no.
We had fireworks at Dad's. And
Oh, yeah.
now that they're legal, he bought big fireworks.
Oh, legal. Okay, yeah.
Like, yeah. Big fireworks. And they were setting up 2 at a time. And the one...
Oh, I saw
again,
Snapchat.
Yeah, again, my fright. I said, I'm sitting far back in a place I can hide behind a building in case something goes wrong. Because we've experienced fireworks going wrong before.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, Becca, blah, 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 you're such a weenie, whatever. Wouldn't you know, a firework tips over and it goes everywhere.
It looked like it was fanned out from the ground, but I saw the video and I thought, that's probably not right. And then you see whoever was closer, it looked like maybe Mason and a friend. It looks like they giggle, and then all of a sudden they start running.
Yeah, that's what you hear, like them giggling, and then you hear the, oh shit!
Like this is not good.
No, this is not good, and everyone's like yelling, like, oh my god, run, hide! And then Joe recording it, she's like,
you hear this laugh in the background, like, exactly. That's very accurate.
And we didn't even realize he did that because you hear him laughing, and me go, oh shit, are they okay? And then you hear someone else in the back start cackling, and we're like, oh, okay, they're okay. But Dad watched that video again with Joe, and he goes, were you seriously laughing at me when we could have been dying? And
Dad was up there?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So when Joe showed Dad that video, he actually was like, I can't believe you were laughing at me. And
like,
Joe,
what else? I'm not going to start screaming.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Joe was like, listen, if you get taken out by a firework, it's probably your time to go anyway. So
yeah, and if it does that damage, because, okay, quick sidebar, I guess. Did you see the video? It was in Utah, a stadium in Utah, and jets flew over. It was a stadium full of people. I don't know if it was a concert or what. Jets flew over, and they set off fireworks from a empty portion of the stadium at the very top of the bleachers. Most of them went up, and there were about then 4 or 6 fireworks that literally shot into the crowd and hit people. And the one girl, she just got hit and then just kind of went to the side and then got back in line. I was like, does that not hurt? Like, it just didn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I think it depends on the firework and the proximity. What I will say were these were big fireworks in not a very big proximity.
Yeah, true.
But
wow.
Whenever that was crazy, that video, and just Joe in the background as they're exploding was so funny. So
did he save the video?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I need to send it because Aaron's not on our Snapchat. So
true.
But anyways,
well, that's fun.
Tell me.
Mine are boring.
Tell me about yours.
Okay, well, not as exciting. I mean, we did see fireworks on the 4th of July. So for the 4th itself, we stayed at the dairy, and we're out in the middle of the country, right? It's a dairy farm. And then so one of the other farms nearby, they'll do some big fireworks. So that was cool. And then on both sides of us, the fireworks from the Fred were in front of us. And then on our left and right side, miles away, you could see other fireworks shows going on in the nearby town. So that was really cool. But that was kind of our extent of the 4th. Spent time at the lake, got to see fireworks on the water. That's really cool. Just being on a boat and seeing fireworks, even if they were little doo-doo fireworks, which these weren't. These weren't. I'm just saying, I feel like being on a boat in general just feels cool, like, regardless.
Doo-doo fireworks.
That, I just told Ruben the other day, like, that should be my weekly obsession at the end. I love saying doo-doo right now. Like, that's a doo-doo food, or that's doo-doo. I don't know why.
Ew.
It's funny. It's so funny to say. So, anyways, we'll move on so I get harassed for saying that. My high is I finally, and not finally, because anyone who's watching, like, you're probably like, I didn't know this was a problem, but I got a new laptop that I'm hoping records the podcast better, because if y'all listened to our most recent episode before this, there was kind of a random glitch and almost melting of 2 clips together. That was because my laptop was having a literal meltdown, and I've had it for, I think, I can't remember, maybe 6-7 years, less or more, but it was just starting to slow down. And this podcast, I know it's not anything crazy, but it apparently takes up a lot of the space on the laptop, and it takes a lot of work for the laptop to keep up with it. And I was just like, I can't deal with this anymore. So got a new laptop, really just an upgraded version of what I already had, but hopefully this works, and I think it'll hold a lot of storage and do the good things. So that's my kind of boring high for the week, but it is what it is. And then my low is, you were talking about rain, right, during the fireworks. Well, this time of the year in Florida, it's summer and hot year round here, but in the summertime, kind of the June, but really July, August, it starts to get into the rainy season where it's just insane. Like right now it's thundering. I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but it is humidity season. It is rainy season. So just about every afternoon, we're probably going to get a thunderstorm. And some days it's a little bit longer. Some days it's just a quick shower, but you walk outside and you are just kind of drenched from the humidity. So it is that time of the year in Florida. And you get used to it, but it doesn't necessarily ever feel any better. It's rough.
It's pretty, well, yeah, it's not as sticky as...
I used to think Pennsylvania was humid, and then I moved to Georgia, and then I moved to Florida, and I was like,
It's just a different beast. Yeah. I mean, our summer is your winter, if that makes sense. Like, we get... That's why people snowbird, because the summer is great up here, and then when it gets cold, it's finally perfect in places like Florida or Arizona or whatever.
Yeah, everyone gets ready for summer elsewhere, and then I'm like, this is when I want to hibernate, actually, because we got in the lake this weekend in Georgia, and it was like jumping into a bathtub. I was like, it's so refreshing. So, yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of something else we did this weekend that I forgot to tell you about. Because it was, by our standards, hot and humid. Pennsylvania standards.
Okay, yes. I mean, I'm not saying it's not humid up there, but just compared to this Florida humidity, it is so sticky and muggy out. But aside, what else did you do this weekend?
So Lexi, who is our stepsister, she decided that she wanted to do a slip and slide. So we did a slip and slide at Dad's.
I saw the videos and it looked so much fun. And I always have FOMO when you get to do all the fun family stuff, but I don't think we ever had the idea growing up to do a slip and slide there, and I was like,
no.
What? How is this the first time that's getting done there?
Well, Dad said we used to do it with our high school boyfriends.
Oh.
He's like, don't you remember doing that? And I was like, no. He goes, well, you did. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm glad someone remembers.
I was like, okay, thanks, Dad. He has just all those probably things with the boyfriends.
Yeah, like
recorded
holding
to memory.
all those little shitty boys in the back of his mind.
Probably. Oh, but Emmy, so I think that it is time to dive into Healthy Girl Summer.
Yes.
Tell me what it means to you.
Yes, so Healthy Girl Summer, and why, again, we wanted to kind of spend an episode talking about it, is I know everyone feels pressure on their bodies, but especially women. We're just fed so many messages from a million different angles about what to look like, what to weigh, how to feel, what to do, spend more money, XYZ, right? There's a billion cajillion things, and it can just feel so overwhelming. And so when I think of a Healthy Girl Summer for myself, for anyone, but even our clients as well, I want to be able to create habits and a lifestyle that allows me to feel strong, energized, and confident in my body to do the things I love. Whether that's the fun things, whether that's the exercise, whether it's the sports, whatever it may be. And I want to be able to do those things, feel good while doing them, but then also not have to feel like I constantly have to hyper-focus on what I look like. Because I remember there was a video, it was kind of a trend on TikTok, I think a couple months ago, and it was women asking their male partners of, how many times a day do you think about what you look like? Or when's the last time you thought about what you looked like? And the guys were like, I don't know. And then it was women. I mean, it's so caught up in what we're doing almost every single moment of the day. So that's kind of what a Healthy Girl Summer means to me. And also, sorry, my power is flickering from this thunderstorm. So apologies if I disappear all of a sudden.
I also saw I think that video is crazy. Mm-hmm. Because I'm always thinking about what I look like,
right?
From did I eat too much today, or how bloated am I, or should I have put on mascara today for all these things, and even I know a commitment I made to myself this summer, and I am following it, is I told Emmy and our sister Erin and then my friend Ella, I said I'm going to wear 3 bikinis to everyone this summer. Because I've always, ever since COVID, and I've probably talked about this a lot, but I've always just been so self-conscious of the weight I've gained in my stomach and all the things. And I just realized, oh my God, like, why? Why not? Just wear it. Literally no one cares. Not a single person cares. And not that many people are even looking at you. That's the thing, is like, I don't know why we all think that we should be so concerned with all these people and what they think, when really they're so focused on themselves that they have no time to even look at us. So that's one way I'm forcing myself to have a healthy girl summer, like, mentally.
And you're doing that is the bikinis versus like the full coverage bathing suits, which nothing wrong with that, but did you kind of recognize you were using that to almost like you were kind of hiding and not feeling as confident in your body and staying within your comfort zone there?
Yeah, I wasn't wearing them for a positive reason. I was wearing them because I was reminding myself that I don't like my stomach. Just so dumb.
It is wild that.
So dumb. But I mean, and I still don't feel that comfortable in a bikini yet. I really don't. And I used to feel great in it. It's just crazy what that one, what that one era of our lives did to my self-confidence. But we're getting back into it.
Well, and I think the beautiful thing of it is you recognizing that you're not giving so much power over the negative feelings. And I think that's what I really try to focus on. And even what I talk about on my page and with our clients as well is you're allowed to feel the negative feelings about your body, right? You don't always have to love your body 24/7, especially in the summer when maybe you are in a bikini or wearing less clothes for a couple months, right? We don't have to be almost unrealistic with ourselves of, oh, I am perfect just the way I am, when in reality maybe you are uncomfortable in a couple areas. But I think it's important to, like what you're doing, Becca, is recognizing, let's even just try to move to a more neutral place of how I'm feeling and not let these feelings of negativity hold so much power where it literally then impacts your physical day to day, right? Because we know that year round we may have different feelings with our body, but summer is when you really get to go out and be active and really enjoy your body outside. And how sad that so many of us let how we feel in our bodies or the number on the scale hold us back from really being able to fully live the life that we want.
Yeah. And I think, one of the core concepts and we mentioned this, I think, in our last episode of Healthy Girl Summer is, healthy girl aging or healthy aging,
Oh, yeah.
All of these things. And we've talked about it before, setting ourselves up for longevity or setting my body up to be able to start a family and be healthy and be around for hopefully kids for a long time. So I'm just reminding myself, and things we'll talk about today is like, that is my primary focus. That is my primary focus. Not the bikini. Not the bikini. Like, living healthy and feeling good, which I do. I feel great. So it's so silly that I'm letting that one thing win. So I'm not going to let it win.
I feel you. And we're all human, right? It's something that you always have to work on. I think social media, again, exaggerates everything in a good or bad way of however you're feeling. So you may see some people and be like, they're always confident, they have it all figured out, they don't have anything to worry about, it must be so nice. And then you see other people who maybe you can relate to. But I feel like regardless, it's knowing that we all have our own different struggles, but you kind of have to constantly work towards it. One of my examples recently is I'm still, of course, a health and fitness coach, but right now, and even the past year or two, I've been more in a maintenance mode. I'm not trying to go into a cut like I did a couple years ago, or maybe as strict as I was, just because I'm cool with where I'm at. So I haven't been really weighing myself. I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago, and I stepped on the scale. And, usually I'm like, okay, whatever. But I stepped on, and it was a bit higher than what I kind of thought it would be. And for a second, I almost spiraled. I almost allowed myself to think, oh my gosh, what is wrong? Like, I immediately need to try to lose weight. I need to go into a cut. And I realized, I had some time to sit on it. And I realized, if I'm feeling good, if I'm feeling confident, if I'm feeling energized and strong, why am I going to let that one singular number dictate how I feel if I felt good previous to that, right? And that's, I think, where we really have to really continue to work on this, like you said, because yeah, if you're not feeling good physically, mentally, regardless of the number on the scale, maybe you should take better care of your health. And I've also then recognized through that, is it maybe it wasn't the number on the scale, but me recognizing I have been a little bit like slacking on my habits a bit. So maybe that's more where it's coming from versus, oh, it's specifically about what I look like and what I weigh. And that's why in our conversation today, we're going to chat about some habits that allow us to feel good, because I think what I've continued to learn is I feel most confident in my body when I am showing up for myself and keeping promises to myself and doing the things that I say I will, which if y'all are watching this right now, Phoebe is getting her exercise in, just diving over Becca on the couch right now.
Sorry, I took away her squeaky cow and her squeaky avocado, and she's very mad.
She's like, give me toys.
But no, you know what? Sorry that happened during such a serious moment.
Oh gosh, I mean, I talk about it all the time.
The doctor's office scales. I have tested this theory at every single doctor I've been to, whether that be skin, whether that be allergy, whether that be regular checkup, whatever.
Yeah.
It's always 3 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
It's always 3 pounds heavier than my home scale. So I'm like, oh, I'm actually 3 pounds lighter than what the doctor office says.
Yep.
And I told my doctor that once, or the nurse, I was like, hey, I have a serious question. Why is your scale always 3 pounds heavier? She goes, maybe it's your scale. I was like, oh.
Wrong. But also,
I was like,
you
that was not the right answer.
Yeah, like rude. I don't care what you actually think. Feed into my own thought process. But also, yeah, you're wearing more clothes at the doctor's office, and you've already eaten meals and drank liquids as you're going there. So for anyone who also sometimes spirals, like, oh my gosh, just know that there are a couple factors at play. But there are so many things that play into it, right?
Yes. But, Em, I'm curious, so I know we wanted to talk about a couple of things about, you know, our habits are going to change during the summer. I mean, everything changes, whether it's a season during the year or season during life. But what if, Phoebe, what are some of the nutrition habits that you maybe alter or keep during the summer months?
Yeah, and as we talk through our habits, I think it's also important to note that your health it's kind of like a spectrum, right? It's going to go towards different ends throughout the year, and it's going to flow, and it's going to ebb, and it's going to look a little bit different. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong, but I think what we'll talk about today, these are kind of my non-negotiables, right? Regardless of what season I'm in, these are going to be the things that I make sure are a foundation in my life to help me feel better. Because again, if I'm not making myself a priority, if I'm putting myself on the back burner, and I know anyone relating or listening will be able to relate to that, I don't feel great. If I don't feel great, I don't want to do the things that I love. So for nutrition, this is where for me, I had tracked macros for a couple years and doing it more so to get the experience myself, but I had certain physique goals and really wanted to, understand what that looked like so then I can help women with that as well. But for me now, I haven't necessarily been tracking for quite some time, and I really just want to make sure that I'm being more mindful and aware with my actions, because without tracking, if you aren't mindful and really aware of what you're doing, it can be easy to kind of say fuck it a little bit too often with your nutrition. And I like the 80-20 approach. 80% of the time, I want to get in whole nutrient-dense foods. 20% of the time, that's where I can fit in those fun foods. And I was letting that scale go a little too far, right? And so for me, I really am just trying to be more intentional about my choices, really focusing on getting in enough protein. And I've been tracking for so long, I mentally can kind of keep tabs on how much I'm consuming. So I'm trying to get in a minimum amount of protein, and then really still focusing on things that can help me get in fiber, lots of fruits and veggies, and eating meals that are going to be balanced and keep me full and satisfied throughout the day. Because if I'm just nibbling, or I'm not consistent, or if I try to push meals too far off or whatnot, I don't feel good. I feel hangry, and that's going to negatively impact me in a lot of ways. So those are some of the habits that work for me. And I think regardless, oh my gosh, there's crazy lightning outside right now. So sorry if you hear crazy thunder. I'm scared. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I've heard a few rumbles. Yeah, like that.
It's so scary.
Spoopy.
So yeah, I know.
Spoopy.
Anyways, it's so throwing me off. Yeah, so those are habits, I think, regardless of your goals, of what season of life you're in, those are really going to be the things that help me feel my best. Building the balanced plates, consistent eating throughout the day, protein, fruits, veggies, and of course, hydration, right? Especially during summertime.
Yeah. And that's what I know. I tracked, oh my gosh, probably a year ago to just better understand what I actually eat. And so I did it I tracked for probably about 3 months until it started to not be a healthy habit for me. But then at that point, I knew when for me to quit, because I still eat very close to the days that were perfect from a number standpoint, but also perfect from a how I felt standpoint. So I now know, based on what I'm eating, where I need to go the rest of the day. But the other thing, so it's just given me a better understanding of
which is the goal
of what days I'm gonna feel my best and what days I'm not, and how to be flexible and how to adapt. But so another thing with summer is that just in general, one of my non-negotiables is I hate wasting food.
Yep.
So
we grew up on that. We love leftovers.
I hate wasting food. So I would rather eat which is probably, unhealthy in itself. And I think the college nutritionist talks about this, like, throw away the food if you don't like it. Or if it's not good for you. I don't 100% align with that. I like figuring out a way to use leftovers and eat all of the food. So there's a middle ground there. So I think for summer, it's me, figuring out, how do I not waste food and how do I incorporate it throughout the day? So, we made potato salad. All right, potato salad is going to be a side at dinner with a vegetable and a protein until it's gone. We have leftover buffalo chicken dip. Let's mix that with rice and broccoli and make a bake out of it. Or something like that. So it's figuring out ways that if you're like me and hate wasting food, and it drives you nuts, but also don't want to feel like doo-doo, as Emily would say.
It's a fun word. You can use it for anything.
It is. Oh, yeah. If you don't want to feel like doo-doo, then figuring out ways to either, one, make less of things. But those types of things are hard to make less of. So it's just being realistic with the food you have, and then accommodating elsewhere and trying to figure out ways to add it in.
Yeah, and I feel like that ties into also food and meal prep, because I know a lot of people listening are probably very, very busy, and I know we both kind of have our own versions of this, but if you're listening and you're thinking, no, I'm so swamped, I don't have the time, eating healthy just feels overwhelming, this is where a meal or food prep can really come into play. And that could be a whole episode in itself, so I'm not going to deep dive into those. But it's just spending an hour or two at one point in the week prepping some food ahead of time. And in that moment, maybe it feels a little bit like, I wish I could be doing something else, or watching TV, or relaxing, or whatever it is. That moment then sets you up for the rest of the week, where that's going to save you time and energy, and honestly headache of not having to plan and not constantly having to prep, so you can put that energy elsewhere. And I know for some, and I think you and Joe have used different versions, there's also the meal delivery kits and like full meal prep services that you can get sent if you're really short on time or feeling overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, that's the other thing from us, especially during the summer and holiday season. I feel like I have very similar approaches to both of them, is having like microwavable things or super convenient things that you can make that are easy and also light if you know you're going to have heavier meals. So, the girls are going out to get drinks on the Knickerbocker patio. Hell yeah, I'm not saying no to that. So today, we're going to have a lighter breakfast, so maybe the hummus toast or one of the nutrition plans, right? With some protein, but it's super light. And then for lunch, maybe we'll have one of those really good salad kits and the Just Bare chicken nuggets.
Yes, that's going to be my dinner.
I've already gotten in like 50 grams of protein by that time. And then whenever I go to dinner, sure, I might have 2 drinks, but I'll make sure that I get a protein along with whatever we're eating. So it's just like planning accordingly.
Yeah, and it almost sounds like the kind of approach that I've talked about often is the add-in method. of you don't have to constantly restrict. And I think that's the message that is so often pushed about eating healthy is restrict, cut out, remove. And it's like, well, that sucks. Not going to do that. That's why you can't stick with it. But instead, where can you add in foods to make something more nutritious? So like you, Becca, said, well, I want to go out and have some fun with my friends, and maybe I want to have the 2 drinks instead of completely removing them. What can I add in to make this a little bit more of a balanced day? What can I add in to make this more filling and to allow me to still enjoy myself but really feel better about this experience? So I love that.
Yeah. And I think in addition to planning out what you're going to eat, or like thinking through how do I need to adapt my nutrition to summer plans, another thing I'm curious, is prioritizing movement and exercise within a busy summer schedule. And one thing I just always like to acknowledge is the only thing Emmy and I have to take care of is ourselves,
I was just thinking that.
Our husbands, and our dogs. Okay,
Yep.
We 1,000% understand that we don't understand.
Yes.
So if you're, but this is just at a high level, at a glance,
Yes.
what works for us. And if
This
you
is our
can see my
perspective.
dog on this camera, you'll understand that maybe she is just like your toddler.
Just won't leave you alone.
Except I can lock her in a crate. You can't lock her.
Yeah, I can put her away and have my time. Like, where's Hudson's right beside me right now? Yeah. But no, I was actually thinking that too. As y'all listen to this, again, take everything with a grain of salt. And that's where, when you listen to any advice or information, it's not an end all be all, right? Really,
Yeah.
the ultimate goal of your health is finding something over nothing, finding some way to take care of your health, no matter what that looks like, right? Because there's not necessarily a right or wrong way, but what way works best for you and what can you be consistent with. So for me, I would even say I don't want to say my like relationship to exercise has changed, but a couple years ago, I mean, I was so down with getting in the gym 4 to 5 days a week, if not more, and strength training and doing that. And then over the past year or two, I've just realized I don't necessarily want to spend that much time in the gym. And it's not like I don't have kids yet or anything, but I just maybe realized that I just want to explore other forms of exercise. And I haven't necessarily done anything crazy, but we both grew up playing sports. And what was so fun about that is really feeling kind of athletic through that. And I feel like with strength training, it is very beneficial. And I think all people and all women should include it in some capacity. But I almost kind of stepped away from maybe doing the cardio or doing the things that made me feel athletic in another way. And so for me, I've kind of recognized that maybe what I enjoy most is 3 days of strength training and then getting in some cardio 1 to 2 days of the week elsewhere, and maybe starting to incorporate running. And so that's something that for how I fit it in and what I realize, that's most realistic for me right now. So it's very important to be honest with yourself about what are your goals, what do you need for those goals, but also what are you willing to do and what are you going to be able to be consistent with. So that's something that has helped me just kind of enjoy it more again, of just giving myself a little bit more flexibility. I'm still working out, I'm still training and taking care of my body, but I'm doing it in a way that's meeting me a little bit more of where I'm at, and I'm still feeling good. And so that's something that's been very beneficial for me recently. And also, it's just scheduling these things out. I know that sounds so simple, but I think very often we view exercise or movement as, oh, that's something I'm going to try to do. I'll try to fit it in, or I hope that happens. But movement and exercise should really kind of be a non-negotiable in whatever capacity that looks like, right? I'm not saying you have to go to the gym a million hours out of the day, but just like you would set up a non-negotiable with your doctor, the dentist, or a work meeting, I like to view, and I'm not perfect, but to really build structure and consistency with it, it can be helpful to almost view exercise, again, as a meeting with yourself, as a non-negotiable for you to show up with. And in building up to that point, maybe that's where you can start with, let's just get some walks in, let's just focus on steps, get consistent with that, build that confidence, and then continue building up to those, maybe more consistent exercise routines.
Yeah. And, you know what? I thought whenever you were talking about the sport, I was like, oh, is she going to talk about pickleball so we can talk about pickleball? Oh my gosh,
yes, I will talk about pickleball, but I'll save that until I hear from you because I could go down a rabbit hole.
Well, what I wrote in the notes is I like to use exercise as a way to socialize during the summer. It's just
whatever works, right?
Right. That's what gets me excited, is knowing, like, you know what, I really like the teacher, or I really like the people who go to this class, or you know what, it's a chance to go play tennis with Dad and Joe, or it's an excuse to go play tennis with my friend Whitney, right? So, and it gives you, it's like a nice little, ooh, I feel competitive again. So that's where you're like,
I don't feel washed up.
I decided to incorporate pickleball to me, you know, to feed that competitive athletic sport loving side of me. But so, I mean, truly, especially during the summer, I am so much more committed to exercise if I've signed up for a class and paid for it.
Accountability.
And I know that if I don't go, I don't get my money back.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess I have to go now.
Yeah, money can be a good accountability partner.
Yeah, or, I told them I would show up at this time to play tennis, and it's too late to cancel on them. Well, guess I gotta go. So it's really, again, it's the same rule I've set with myself about the bikinis versus the one piece. I just have to put myself in a position where I cannot escape the role I've set for myself. So I'm like, how do I feed into my type A personality? I set a role and I have to, or I like have to put it on my list and I have to cross it off. So yeah, I don't know. That's how I've been getting back into exercise, because I think there's also something with age that shifts how you view exercise. It's just, and you just said you're experiencing it. There's something that happens as you get older and as big milestones in your life happen that, why am I spending this much time in a gym, right? I'd rather be at home. I'd rather, hang out with my husband. I'd rather be with my friends. I'd rather read a good book. I'd rather watch a TV show. So it's like you find these other ways you want to spend your time. So it's how can you also figure out a way that exercise makes you feel that same way as reading a book, watching TV. And that's how things like spin class, tennis, and other group fitness classes make me feel.
Yeah, and that brings up such a good point of knowing that you're always going to have other priorities in life. And that's okay, right? That's where, again, you have to be realistic with yourself, because some people, they love spending all their time in the gym, or, maybe they're training for an Ironman or whatever, and that is their dedication at that time in their life. And so it's okay and totally normal for it to kind of ebb and flow. And it's recognizing, what is going to allow me to be consistent with this, but also enjoy it for a majority of the time. Because let's be honest, I think we can all say we don't always love, I have to get up and go work out. I'd rather be sleeping. Like, it can feel hard at times, but it's knowing that ultimately it is going to be the thing that makes you feel better. And I love that you kind of find those ways to incentivize yourself or almost bribe yourself a little bit. And I think what can help people be more consistent with exercise is, just recognizing, okay, how can I bribe myself? How can I make this easier? And also knowing what obstacles am I potentially going to face throughout the week and how can I prepare for that? So I've recognized pretty much forever, if I say, I'm going to work out in the morning and then I keep pushing it off, I'm going to be able to find a million reasons to not do it. So if you're also that type of way, try to start working out in the morning. Maybe work out earlier in the week before the weekend rolls around. And for you, Becca, it seems that you tell someone you're going to work out or you're paying for a class, because then it really kind of hopefully not removes, but you're moving past some of those obstacles of reasons why you could not show up.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay X amount of dollars. I'm not going to tell you how much a Pilates class is because it's embarrassing. So don't ask. Or that tennis lesson that I can't get out of, how much that costs, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Right now, my favorite form of exercise is spin. And I think it's because that was such a big part of my early 20s, and where I made a lot of my friends and found a roommate and now a best friend, and the gym, Point of Fitness, and spin, and coming up with a spin brand with one of my best friends was one of the greatest.
Yeah, even from afar, I loved that.
My epic eras of my life with L Cycle. So, but then L Cycle, aka Chitty/L, moved on with her life. And so L Cycle, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
And there was never anything or anyone who filled that void. And now there's a studio called Boost Cycle, and they are so fun, and they do things like roof rides.
Yeah,
so during
that's
the summer,
so cool.
It's like these places are taking advantage of summer and giving people something that's fun. So like, we did one on the 4th of July. We had an American playlist, and we enjoyed the sunshine, and so we're gonna do it again on Saturday. I signed up for one. So I think that, and then I guess I would consider, tennis an exercise, especially now that I'm getting better. The better you get, the more you have to work. So those would be my favorite forms of exercise right now. So, Emmy, I'm curious, what about you?
I love that. So I also always have total FOMO of your like mega group fitness class friend group things. So I always love that you do have such an awesome community around you there with so many women that just want to exercise in a fun way. And for me, I would say pickleball, so tennis on a smaller scale. And I have to say, pickleball really humbled me in the way of recognizing.
Fun.
Yes. And it's the realization of, okay, I felt so cool because I got a cool little backhand, but then you realize, how hard is tennis? I mean, for pickleball to be challenging, and it's what, a fourth of the size of a tennis court? It's so hard to comprehend tennis, and I'm like, kudos to people that play tennis. I mean, I know you're starting it, but you think of the pros, it's like, holy crap, they are. I mean, that's a lot of athleticism for tennis.
The amount of endurance that they have to have. So like, I went to once a month lessons, right? And there's one, it reminds me of a basketball drill in the beginning. You have to like hit a forehand, shuffle, like side shuffle around this cone, hit a backhand, side shuffle, and you have to get so many in until you can quit. And I am absolutely gassed.
Kill me now. I can't.
Gassed by the end of this. And it is humbling. And even pickleball though is just as good because it's a lower barrier of getting it. Like it's easier to
understand.
Yeah, it's easier to participate and contribute versus tennis. I mean, it took me 2 years for people to like invite me to play tennis because I'm like I can contribute-ish. Pickleball, it's right away you can pick it up, and it's just such an easy way to move, and an easy way to be competitive again. There is something to be said about a competitive outlet in a healthy way, in a sport way. It's the competitiveness is contained to that game, and that's it. And then you leave. It's like you get out what's in your system. So
I agree 1,000%. Especially we grew up playing sports.
We should start, like, we should make some Cowgirl Talk pickleball outfits or Cowgirl Talk pickleball paddles, and get everyone. It would be easier to get other people in on pickleball than tennis, because tennis is like, that's a part of my 30s identity crisis is tennis. Like, pickleball's more accessible to everyone.
Yes, it's more inclusive.
They don't have to be in a third of their life crisis like I am.
I can get down with the pickleball renaissance as well, and I agree. It's such a fun thing to pick up because, like you said, you can feel like you're good at it. Because I've hit maybe a couple good shots, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could so go pro. I'm so ready for this. And then you watch videos of actual pickleball pros, and you're like, holy shit. I mean, I'm not obviously there yet, but I mean, they are very, very good. But it is a sport that is so fun to feel competitive with, especially growing up playing sports, and honestly just giggle and laugh with. We played last night with 2 friends, and this is our 3rd time playing against each other, so pretty much our 3rd time in general playing matches. And we're not amazing or anything, but even just from starting to now, you can tell we got better, and you can make a day out of it, a night out of it. So it is just a fun way to get moving. And it's such a reminder of, I'm so glad that I do have a strong and healthy body, that I take care of it, that I can enjoy things like this. And it just, it makes you grateful to being able to have a body that does it, even though in Florida playing pickleball right now, you're about drenched 10 minutes in, but it's still worth it.
Yeah. I love it, Em. Another thing, before we wrap it up with our weekly obsession that I thought was You hit on it a little bit in the beginning, but other non-negotiables that you have in your habits that make you feel good, even beyond nutrition and exercise, which are the most, immediate things that you associate with a healthy girl summer, that doesn't mean there isn't more to it. So what are some of your other non-negotiables and habits that you keep that keep you feeling emotionally and I would say mentally well?
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned earlier nutrition, of course, water. And then sleep is going to be a really big one as well. And again, as I say all this, y'all, I'm not perfect. I can always be more consistent. We can all always improve. And as I say these things, it's also to tell myself, too, and remind myself, let's get our shit together. But sleep is always going to be a really important one. And really what I've been trying to get better with is the habit of just not breaking promises to yourself, of following through the things that I say I'm going to do. And I know that can be applied to anywhere, but especially within my health and fitness habits, and more so within waking up in the morning. Not hitting the snooze button can change the trajectory of your entire day. And actually getting up when you say you will, it sounds simple, but there's like science behind it, but it truly can dictate my mood throughout the entire day. So for this morning example, I got up early. I got up on time because I wanted to work out. I had a facial. And then I was done with that and could hop right into work without having to worry about, oh, did I push off my workout? Do I need to do this? And I had such a productive day. And I felt good knowing that I showed up for myself in the way that I said I would. So that's like a simple thing, but it's something that I'm really trying to work on right now, that I notice immediately how it impacts me mentally. And if I'm feeling good or not mentally, and that impacts like, oh, well, I don't feel like working out because I'm just in a bad mood, my confidence, and I'm not good enough, da-da-da. So that's a big thing for me currently right now.
Man, I know I put a lot of weight on morning workout classes, but that is the only thing, not the only thing, whether it's
the only thing worth waking up for.
Yeah, there are two things that really, truly get me up on time without a snooze button. And that's if I have a work event or like a big event that I have to be up and ready for, and then I am like up and ready to go, no questions asked. Or a morning workout class, I do wake up and on time and when it goes off. But if I don't have one of those two things, other than, I just got to be on my computer by 8 a.m., So that's something I'll probably always struggle with, and I'll always have to find ways to force myself to be better at it. Yeah. Because it really does make such a difference.
It does. Do you have anything else aside from the snoozing? Because I think everyone can probably relate to that.
It's just, it is who I am. It really is. But something else that's this is super specific, but I was trying to think of what is something I am loyal to every single day. And ever since I separated my personal phone and my work phone, so for the first time ever, right?
Ooh.
I have a work phone and I have a personal phone, which has just made a world of a difference.
I love that.
Which means at lunchtime, I always take a lunch break. Sometimes I take the full hour, sometimes it's 15 minutes, but I always make sure that I take a lunch break. I sit at our kitchen table or island and I eat my lunch and I play my New York Times games. Every single day. I know. Listen, that's another thing. You were like, ugh, pickleball. I'm just telling you.
You're on something.
The next thing you're going to be hooked on is the New York Times games. And I play my Wordle, my connections, my strands, my mini crossword, and my tiles. All in that order. Every single day over lunch. And it's just, it makes my brain work in a way that has nothing to do with work or my personal life.
Yep.
And it's the best habit daily to just give me that middle of the day. All right, back to it.
Yeah.
And it's just a habit that's really, I think, helped me cope with a stressful day at work, or making sure that I'm not overdoing it, or I just give myself a second to just breathe and think. Because honestly, I swear I have more brighter moments in the second half of the day for work, where I can think about things more clearly when I've literally done a factory reset on my brain with these like childhood games rebranded as adult games.
Yeah.
So that's a non-negotiable I have for sure.
Well, I love it. And I feel like it's something that you're winning, right? It's something that you're accomplishing. No matter how small, it's something you get to do no matter how your day has been going. You get to show up, do that, feel good about it, and then carry that with you afterwards.
Yeah. And I'm also pretty good about my morning supplements and my vitamins in the evening and water intake. And those are the things I can 100% control no matter what situation I might be put in for movement or food that day. So.
Yeah. Love it. I feel like we hit on all the goodies. And also, as I say that, there are so many facets of health, right? There's so many different ways you can prioritize your health physically, mentally, and I feel like this just scratches the surface. So if y'all have any ideas or anything that you'd like to share with us, of course, you can send us a DM on Instagram, Cowgirl Talk, on how you have a healthy girl summer. We'd love to hear, because again, Becca and I both know we are not the end all be all. We know we do not know everything. And like we said earlier, we're not parents, right? We have pretty flexible schedules compared to those who are also managing little humans. So thank you. If you provide any feedback and for listening to us share our habits and what we feel good with. But before we dive deeper into that rabbit hole, let's go on a fun note with our weekly obsessions. I feel like we haven't done weekly obsessions in a while. So Becca, I'm excited to hear it, and more so even like monthly obsessions, what you've been obsessed with lately.
Yeah, so I shared two things. I'll probably think of more things as you share yours. But one is we've been trying to find a show to get into. And we loved Breaking Bad, so we started Better Call Saul. And then kind of went away from it. And then we found this thing on Reddit where a person literally took every single rating of a show and put it into a master Excel spreadsheet, and then came up with a very database list of the greatest shows of all time.
Oh my gosh.
And Better Call Saul was number 7. So
wow.
like, okay, I think we started it while we were in a funk, so let's get back into it, and we've been loving it. So I'm glad we started that again. That show's just, it's really good. That era of TV was awesome.
Do you remember what was number 1?
Yeah, hold on. Oh my god, what was it? I was surprised. I was surprised by it. No, make a guess. What do you think?
Literally. Sopranos?
No, but that's up there.
Friends. Seinfeld.
No, they're pretty lower. It's Breaking Bad.
Oh, see, I'm not a huge series person. Like, I love watching stuff, but I don't watch enough series. Okay, so
it was Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Chernobyl.
Game of
Chernobyl.
Thrones.
God, I don't know if I say that right.
Chernobyl.
The Sopranos, Band of Brothers, The Wire, Better Call Saul, Stranger Things. And so
Stranger Things. Yeah, young people show. I know that one.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, we've watched and loved every single one of these shows. Except I've never seen The Wire, but I was like,
no, me either.
We've got to watch this again because these are all of our all-time favorite shows. So, yeah, so we're obsessed with that. And then I've been hunting for businesses to donate like jewelry and clothes and cool, like female-owned businesses to donate cool door prizes for the Dairy Grow Network conference. So, plug if you're interested.
Yeah.
Hit me up. But oftentimes I find these businesses that I want to be there, and then I end up buying their things. So you can kind of see today these earrings from Shop Common Form. Aren't they cool? They're like the turquoise. I'm always looking for gold turquoise because I'm not a silver girl, right? So it's like, how can we take this Western cowgirl but make her a little more less silver.
I don't know.
You know what I'm trying to say?
It's more of like it's still Western, but it's not.
It's more of like
as Western.
It's more of like a preppy Western is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like the silver turquoise is always it's not tarnished, but that's the look that it has almost. And I feel like with the gold, it almost makes it look more. I don't want to say modern. I'm not a fashionista, but I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just a gold girl.
I think it's more preppy versus rustic.
Yes, that's like the word.
The classic turquoise and silver is more rustic and more cowgirl, and my turquoise and I think style is more corporate cowgirl, right? It's a little more preppy. So these, I love these, and another pair of earrings I got from them. So I'm really hoping that they say yes to donating a door prize to Dairy Girl Network, because I would love to be able to have these out there for the ladies to experience. But those are my 2 current obsessions. Emmy, what about yours?
Yay! I feel like I just not spiraled, but I just went sporadic and wrote down a ton of things because I got stressed and thought, I don't know if I have any. And now that as we've been talking, I've been thinking about things. So I'm not necessarily going off my original list. I will say, when you said Surfside drinks earlier, about I think you had one at the Curb game, that's been, I don't go out and drink all the time, but if I'm going to be out in the boat at the lake this summer, I've gotten the Surfside drinks both times. So I would say that's a summer obsession if I'm going to be drinking, it's sunny out, and I have had the iced tea and vodka, and then this weekend I tried the black cherry lemonade and vodka, and I usually feel like I like when drinks have bubbles in them, the carbonation, but this not having a carbonation, I think it works. So I've really been loving those lately, and I'll stick with 2, kind of going off of what you've been, or going off of the show route as well. Well, it's 2 shows. Ruben and I just randomly watched the Barbecue Showdown on Netflix, season 2.
Oh my God, it's so good.
We didn't watch season 1 though. Ruben jumped to season 2, and we were already into it.
Honestly, season 1's even kind of better. So now you have another show to watch. It's good.
Yay! Yeah. So we finished season 2, and now we have season 1, and I think they just came out the new season to watch, and we never really watched food shows together, but it's fun. It makes you want to cook.
Yeah.
And we just got a Traeger recently, so.
Oh, well, that makes so much sense. Okay.
Gosh, well, we're not going to do anything fancy like that, but I feel like it makes us feel like we could do something cool.
They make them barbecue on, like, medieval cooking devices and stuff. Yeah. Well, that's
they do
fun.
crazy stuff. Yeah, so that's been a show we've watched together, which I feel like it's really hard for Ruben and I to watch a show together because he travels a lot during the week, and then he goes to sleep early, and so there's a very small window of when we can actually watch things, and it just, honestly, on big series, I feel like it takes too long and we give up. So that's been nice. And then for me personally, I started watching Sex and the City Friday night. We were at the lake, and my sister-in-law Monica, she's like, have you ever watched this? So we turned it on quick, and there's such quick, easy episodes to watch. We watched 4.
Yep.
And then I feel like I watched like 8 episodes this weekend so quick, and it's so fun to watch. I know it started in the 90s, so it's also just fun to watch a show back then to see kind of how it's different to today. And I'm only in season 1 still, but I can see why it's so popular, because it's fun to also see that side of life, like city living. And I don't know how accurate it is, I'm not a New York City girl, but it's really fun to watch. And yeah, it's not a side of life I'll probably ever experience. So I'll vicariously live through Sex in the City.
Well, that's what the TV shows like that are, you can pick up Sex in the City at any point in the series. Yep. And it'll be good. It's the same for Seinfeld, for The Office, for Friends, for Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
Like those shows, Parks and Rec. Those shows are so good because, one, they're easy.
Yeah.
And you can watch at any point, and it's going to be hilarious.
Yep. Have you watched Sex in the City?
Yeah, yes, but not from like start to finish a committed watch.
Yeah, it's they're only about 20-minute episodes.
I know what happens. I know. You know what? I still don't know if I'm Team Aiden or Team Big.
Oh no, I don't. I don't know who. I know Mr. Big yet. I already know who she ends up with. I think but
yeah,
it's the process now of seeing how it gets there.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, and the movies are great, and so I've heard mixed reviews on the new series.
Oh, isn't it them when they were younger or something?
Well, no, there's that with other people, but now there's a Sex in the City like present day.
Oh.
And I've heard mixed reviews on it. So
yeah, like
sometimes when something is so good,
don't redo it.
It's gonna be an epic fail no matter what you do, because you can't recreate the magic. Like, you just gotta let the magic be sometimes, you know?
Yeah, especially when the show started almost 30 years ago. I mean, again, there's still a lot relevant to then to now, but also I feel like the magic of it is that in that moment, that's what was, popular. That's what worked. And to try to kind of maybe do it again now, it's like, this just doesn't work the same.
Fun
stuff. Well, I might try to sneak in a few episodes of Sex in the City tonight. We'll see. I'm excited now. Yeah, so I guess that is my obsession because I'm thinking about it already.
Nothing beats having a good show.
I know, and there's a lot of other little things, but I'll stick to those two now. I feel like we kind of stayed on the same path. But this was such a fun episode. I say that about every single one because, again, it's just us getting to have a little bit of a conversation. But I think it's nice reminders to ourselves of how we want to show up for ourselves and holding ourselves accountable, talking to each other, but also putting it out to our audience now. But hopefully as you listen to this, you can find some tidbits of how you can make yourself a priority. Because regardless of who you are, where you're at, what your age is, profession, no matter what, you deserve to prioritize yourself. And you deserve to feel good in your body, physically, mentally, in whatever capacity that looks like. And again, we know everyone lives and leads very different lives. But no matter what, you should still have the right to feel confident, strong, and confident. Well, I said confident twice because that's how much I believe in it, in your body. So regardless of that, before I go on my little tangent, I'll get off my high horse. And as always, if y'all enjoyed the episode, leave us a review. Let us know what you thought. You can reach out to us on social at Cowgirl Talk on all socials. And you can subscribe to the show if you want to be notified when we release new episodes, which typically will be every Monday when we decide to not take a little bit of a holiday break. But yeah, thanks for listening as always, y'all.
And have a great day, Cowgirls. Bye.
Bye.